Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Chris, and I'm here to tell you guys what I think that Everything Everywhere All at Once is an exact allegory of. Alright, so I think that the concept of swapping into another version of yourself is a huge metaphor for psychedelics, right? Because it gives you this rush, and you see that, like, what the hell is her name? Like May or something like that? The mom gets like this huge rush the first time that she successfully does it. And she seems to have like a certain reliance on it afterwards. She wants to like go back to that experience that she had when she had that extra power as the other version of herself. See what I'm saying? And we can see also that like abusing this power and kind of like going overboard with how much your brain can take it, you'll become Jobu Tapaki, which is like, I think probably just like a big metaphor for just greening out, right? And we can, I think that this story is actually about the author's experience with her first time doing drugs with her daughter, or his son or daughter. And this is him kind of explaining like how that experience felt, and like kind of, or how her experience felt, like kind of like having to go into those dark places that her child is also in order to get her out. And a lot of times mothers and daughters are really reflections of themselves, you know? And the daughter oftentimes, maybe during their teenage years, maybe during their early 20s, begins to resent their mother. Because at the end of the day, they're afraid of what they see in their mother because they see themselves. And the things that they don't like about their mothers are the same things that they hate about themselves, you know? And that is horrible to see all the time. It's just like a reflection of yourself. You know, I'm really just trauma dumping on the tube, aren't I, huh? Shit. Anyways, like I was saying, I think, and I was thinking about this earlier before I got the idea to make this video. I was thinking earlier, just like, about how moving it is of an idea of your mother, like, seeing their daughter in distress and all this pain, and having this motherly instinct to go and protect their child, their baby. And in doing that, they decide that the best way to do that is to first experience the same thing the child has, and to figure out what they themselves would help them. And they pass those things on to their children to make sure that they don't go through the same struggles that the parent has to go through. I think that's particularly in mothers specifically, I think. Or maybe I'm just biased. People with fathers come out here and help me in my theory. But I feel like a father doesn't really quite have that same bodily even connection to their child, you know? Like the mother like literally had them inside of their womb and birthed them. And that, I was reading something about like the traumatic experience of like childbirth. Here you go, here's your food. I'm gonna finish this video. Bye. I love you. And it's like kind of, does it suck? Does it suck? Okay. The traumatic experience of childbirth. I've said that at least 4 times already. Take a shot every time I say the traumatic experience of childbirth. Sigh, glug. Only Blake ones would know. I hope this video doesn't get like 2 million views or some shit. And like some dude is like hearing my stupid inside jokes that I have with my friends. Also my stupid frizzy hair because it was raining today. Whew. I love it when it rains in New York, eh? Anyways, so like I was saying about the traumatic experience of life, or fucking shit fucker. I've already said a curse word within the first like minute of the video, haven't I? Shit. So if this does get big, I can't even monetize it. Oh, that would be funny. You know, I've always had this dream of like being like a YouTuber, and I think it's kind of, to bring it back to Everything Everywhere All at Once, it's kind of the same thing with the mother's dream of wanting to be a famous actor, you know, to be beloved by everyone because one of their parental figures didn't give enough love and affection to them. Like, for example, her father. Like, that guy definitely was not giving the amount of affection that the mother needed in order to like grow up to be like kind of like a healthy person, you know? And she passed on that abandonment and that feeling of resentment towards the parental figure down to Jobu, or whatever her real name is. And that's why the mother is kind of the only person that's able to pull Jobu Tapaki out of the donut and like away from killing herself, essentially. I mean, okay, a bit of a tangent. This entire video is a fucking tangent. Gonna be real. But yeah, the donut, I think, is more than just like an allegory for suicide, but like more an allegory for the intense feeling of just desiring to no longer exist. Not to die, but to simply it be the next day and as if you had never existed. Which I think it's definitely something I have related to at one point. Like, I used to think the end of Evangelion was a happy ending because the third impact happened and everybody was able to become this primordial mush and kind of essentially being able to perceive and understand the emotions of literally everything and completely understand. And that removes completely this human condition because you already know. Everybody already knows everything that everybody knows and kind of understands them intrinsically. Am I using that word right? As like a person, you know? And it's really kind of this like kind of utopic idea when in reality it's kind of a dystopic idea, because then that removes entirely that ability to create connection in like a physical way, and you lose that yearning and that like adventure and like search for that connection. You know what I'm saying? The work that you put in to make that connection despite the fears that you have. And again, that's man, that's one of my favorite things, is the not description, the meaning of like courage and bravery. It's not having any fears, it's about knowing that you have these fears and putting them aside and doing what you have to do despite those fears, you know what I'm saying? And again, that's another thing that I think happens a lot in Everything Everywhere All at Once. And back to the reflection of the child thing, you see the mother and the daughter, they kind of just have the same experience with this like overusage of the transdimensional, you know what I'm saying, the thing that makes them do crazy things. That's where we're going to be calling it for the rest of the video, by the way, however long that is. That they kind of have the same feeling about it, and that they kind of become suicidal after like realizing that there is no meaning to life. This very much is the nihilist versus the absurdist in this like whole movie, pretty much. And you can see the mother's journey between nihilism and absurdism. I think she starts out as a nihilist, and I think actually only by the end she becomes an absurdist when, and I think the confusion lies in where she may have begun to like undergo her sort of transformation as she realized how much that Waymond actually meant to her and how much she actually loved him. And we're gonna get back to Waymond because Waymond, man, he's my favorite character, and I can't believe I'm not putting more of him in the video. But there's not really much to say about Waymond. He's kind of just this altruistic force that is kind without reason, that kind of has no reason, no sense. He's kind of like a dumb character. But in reality, what he is he's aloof and he's loving, and I really relate to Waymond, dude. Like, that's kind of how I feel sometimes. Sometimes it feels a little bit bad when you express things in a little bit of a weird way, and it's kind of like taken in not the way that you'd want it to, you know? But yeah, Waymond, very relatable character, and caused a lot of tearjerkers from me while watching that movie. I'm so scared to watch it again because I do not want to cry at that again. But anyways, like I was saying, yeah, there's that reflection, and she kind of becomes altruistic, or not altruistic, an absurdist by the end of the movie because she's able to copy Waymond's sort of like happiness and kindness without reason and loving unconditionally. And that kind of makes her able to defeat everyone around her, or defeat all the guys or whatever to get to Jobu. And she's also using her daughter's abilities as well, which you can see, like, this mother is like breaking these trauma cycles by changing the way that she does things inherently. You know, like at first she fights like the Waymond Alpha, right? She takes that from him. She just learns the ability of swapping to another version of yourself. And then she takes a lot of experience from her daughter, obviously, because she goes beyond the point of no return, sees the donut, and now has the same powers as her mother, is kind of stuck in the same state of not dying. And then, of course, she takes from the Waymond that she married, in the sense that he is just this loving, patient, and kind figure that is kind of like a pacifist, you know, in a way. And you can see him kind of crying out to her to stop the fighting. Dude, I'm getting teary-eyed just thinking about this. I love this fucking movie. And just like throughout the whole third act of the movie, where there's all this tension around Jobu about to walk into the donut, which is a sequence that is like pretty much entirely slow motion. And you'd expect that to be really boring, but they pack so much in every little second of that scene. Like, Jobu is like walking up the stairs for like 30 minutes straight, but like it is such a beautiful 30 minutes, and it feels so incredibly paced. It feels like every single moment in it is supposed to be there, you know? And like the mom going up the steps is her completing essentially her journey of closing out these abuse and trauma cycles. And now, again, she's beginning to learn from Waymond, this altruistic force, that instead of trying to work through force in order to get to Jobu and to save her, she needs to use something that is even stronger than force, that takes a lot more effort to create, and that is the abilities that Waymond kind of teaches her, or the way that Waymond kind of inspires her to use her abilities, is to, instead of just knocking them out, she goes into their lives, experiences their lives, and uses what she learns in order to trigger an immediate traumatic response to just that action, because of how much weight it has on their lives. And that's kind of, it kind of goes back into, you know, all of our own lives, you know. like, there's so many things that we hold on to for so long that we don't even realize we've been holding on to, you know? And when they finally do come out, it's kind of just like an overflow of emotions, like kind of like a volcano, you know? And like, obvious trauma dumping on the truth again. The truth. What am I on about? But yeah, I think it's just really cool and important that instead of just using destruction and being violent, she solves her problem now using the kindness of Wayman, which takes so much more effort to create. Just like it took so much more effort to, instead of divorcing Wayman, she decides to continue to love Wayman as she shifts to more of a now absurdist sort of belief style, right? And it took so much more effort, but the results of holding on to that marriage and continuing to work to fix that relationship, it led to them realizing how much more that they loved each other than they ever really could have thought. And it's so heartbreaking to think about the other universes where Waymond and the mother are both like in love with each other. Like I think it's implied that in every single universe, they're either in love with each other together or unhappy in the relationships that they're in instead of being with Waymond or the mother, respectively, or whatever. They're kind of not fully satisfied in those relationships, and they wish they had, like, in a way, like, met this like perfect person for them. It's so interesting though that it kind of implies that it's making this argument that like there's this one soulmate and you have to meet this one soulmate and there's nobody else out there for you. And also, I think it's so awesome that we pretty much get the confirmation that the mom is bi because she has this other universe where she's dating the tax agent girl or whatever. And I think that scene is so awesome because you can see the transformation of her character through her relationship with that character, with the tax lady, right? You can see her in the beginning kind of resenting the tax lady because of what she represents. She represents all this trauma that she has, this feeling that she hasn't lived up to what her father has expected from her. And kind of that is what is weighing down her relationships with everybody else around her. That's what causes her to not reveal that Jobu is a lesbian herself. Oh my god, this movie is so fucking queer, and it's fucking great. Like, I think this is a great representation for queer characters, and I think it displays sexuality really as a spectrum rather than these rigid labels that we kind of like give sexuality, you know what I'm saying? It's something that needs to be experienced or understood in kind of like a fluid way, you know what I'm saying? That's why I really just think that like sexuality isn't really like a thing. Like, hear me out, dude. Let me cook, all right? Like, because it's such like a fluid thing that you can't really be like one thing or the other thing. There's always like such a tiny little bit of that thing, you know what I'm saying? The same way that like straight guys are sometimes attracted to like traps, or a lot of times attracted to traps, honestly. Or I don't know, I'm sure a lesbian has thought about a man at some point, and probably an asexual person, at least it is possible that at one point in their lives they maybe had like a sexual fantasy. Maybe, of course, in a different sort of light or kind of theming or topic of the other fantasies, but it could be just any sort of erotic dream, really, or something related to eroticism, you know what I'm saying? I feel like Layla's gonna watch this video and she's gonna be like, Chris, you got asexuality totally wrong. And I'm like, all right, dude, like, I get it, you know, I should just listen, you know what I'm saying? Like, He's probably saying the right thing, probably. Layla, you're really cool and smart and shit. And yeah, I should probably tell you that more often. And I probably shouldn't, like, hide one of those in the middle of a 20-minute long video, huh? Sorry, you're gonna have to sift through this one, huh? Somebody will clip it for you, probably. It's probably gonna be Blake. Blake, you're fucking awesome too. I love you, man. And everybody here, pretty much. Fuck, this is just becoming I love you dubcore too, except I'm actually high. You could already tell that. I didn't have to say that. I didn't have to say that, did I? Well, I hope my sister doesn't watch this. I'm also naked. That's funny. That's really funny. Maybe my brother can watch it up. Maybe my mom. No, not my mom. No. In 20 years, I'll still be embarrassed. Anyways. Crap. What was I gonna say? Now I'm just not cursing because I'm imagining like my family around me. Isn't that funny? Was that a sneeze or a cough? I think it was a cough. Bless you anyway. She's really nice too. Anyways, what was I on about? Crap, right? Something about smart people. Maybe. What if I just outed Diego right now? That would be funny. I guess that will make sense later or something. Yeah, guys, Diego is trans, actually. He's a woman. Who did I think was a woman again? I shouldn't say that. If I say anything, it just gives up who it is. I think somebody's gonna guess, though, because I'm pretty obvious with my stuff. Crap, I'm sorry for lying. I always say, like, you shouldn't say shit behind people's backs, but, like, I do that more often than I'm willing to admit. Anyways, fuck. Dude, just like a whole 5 or so minutes of this video is just like unusable, you know what I'm saying? A lot of this video is unusable. But it's still getting used. Like, you know, like when you eat a chicken wing and you don't leave the cartilage because that's how good the chicken wing is? Yeah, you know what I'm fucking talking about, dude. And I'm not talking about any fucking KFC shit, dude. You know what I'm fucking talking about. You know what I'm fucking talking about. Like, that shit has to be home cooked. Home cooked. Or you have to be starving as fuck. Anyways, what was I on about? Man, I really like my family. I'm pretty lucky I got born into that family. Oh, shit. You should have been hearing what I was spitting yesterday, though. Not yesterday. It was a couple of days ago. Anyways. Like I was saying. Tell him what's up. Tell him what's on. What's up? Tell him what's up. Danny's gonna love that one. I know for sure. That's so fucking funny. Anyways. I think a lot of the people in my life are queer. I like to think they are, just like a little bit. I think everybody is just a little bit. Everybody has a man or a woman that at some point they have been romantically or sexually attracted to. You know what I'm saying? Such as for Blake Jobu Tapaki, which personally, she's kind of the Asuka of Everything Everywhere All at Once. Honestly. Yeah, what was I saying? Do you just like goth girls? Is that what it is? Like, I should probably not be talking about anybody's taste in anything. Because you guys are gonna get in the comments and be like, mentally ill person, I'm gonna be like, he got me. Damn, he's good. That was a combination for Diego, for the Diegos at home. Dude, is anybody gonna watch all 30 minutes of this shit? Yeah, they are. They need more Chris content in their lives. Anyways, like I was saying, she is kind of like adopting all of these traits of all of the people around her. And like even her father and her stubbornness, that she takes that from him. And that's very relatable, honestly. And she's able to save the day because of it, because of also the hope that she inherits from her husband, it seems like. And it's so sad when she breaks his heart, and in the future she's an actor and she attempts to rekindle that relationship with him, and she's unable to. And it's so interesting how these flashes into these other worlds kind of are a sneak peek into what it's like to see the donut, or to get to that point of no return. And so there's that constantly flashing between lives. And we kind of got that for like 30 minutes straight in the movie. A lot of things are interesting, like story decisions always just span over the entirety of an act, and an act never finishes until it reaches a new question to ask the audience. And I think that's what makes Everything Everywhere All at Once such a beautiful story, and why I feel so scared to make some stories myself, because these people are the pros and they're good at it, dude. They're good. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep trauma dumping on here. YOLO. Goofy out of laugh. Anyways, dude, man, like I keep feeling like dogs really aren't that good lately. You know what I'm saying? That's a tangent for another day. What am I on about? Also, dogs are totally attack types. You cannot, like, if they were attack or AP, they would be attack. No AP, but lots of Omnivamp. You know, they'd be Warwick. What the fuck am I on about? Of course they would fucking be Warwick. They're both wolves. Fuck. I thought I was onto something there. I really did. I really did so bad, man. But yeah. It's just so interesting how her relationship with that tax lady like evolves over time, and how she's able to like actually love her, like was kind of like revealed to us in the moment where she had to confess her love to her in that split second to transform. And the only universe that she's able to find is the universe where everybody's fingers are sausages, which apparently makes her into women. Maybe it's the sausage that she's attracted to, you know? Which is like so interesting. The weird ass things that they do in this movie. And like they really thought about everything. And all of these like little concepts are so weird, but they make so much sense. Just like my analogies. I swear to God, guys, there is some sense in them. Just a teensy weensy bit. And you know, I feel like last year, I dropped the lore that like I'm not as dumb as I act like I am. And then this year I dropped the lore that I'm like actually as dumb, like, or worse. Isn't that funny as hell? Shit. I crack myself up. Goofy, I'll laugh. Anyways, we're almost at the 30-minute mark. Just 5 minutes ago, I was saying that we shouldn't make this 30 minutes. Isn't that crazy? But now we're here. Time just keeps on marching forward. Anyways. And for Jobu and what's her name, or the mom, time kind of doesn't march at all. It's kind of just like this slow drag into the dirt in the state where they're neither dead or living. You know what I'm saying? There's constantly another universe where they're existing at every single time. Everything Everywhere All at Once. There's the title. Roll credits. Anyways, yeah. Like, that would be such a good one to have to guess on that new Jackbox game. The one where you're trying to guess like a place, person, or a piece of media, like a TV show or a movie. That would be so interesting. So interesting. And I would totally just have so much fun doing that. And sorry for being naked right now. For those that are turned off by nakedness. And I hope you guys like this video. I think I'm dropping down some solid points. Y'all like my points? Comment down below. Anyways, I feel like when I was a kid, when I would try to make YouTube videos, but I would never like have this attention span to, wow, my attention span's improved. Excuse me, sorry, I'm just lamenting on my childhood and me always picking at the grass and always looking out the window all the time. Yeah, I was a weird kid. I was a weird kid. And nobody liked me until high school. And then I got handsome. Anyways, I really like Gartic Phone because I just like drawing. And it's very creative, the prompts, and they're more tailored to like our humor and shit. And they make me laugh, actually. Scribblio does not make me laugh. What makes me laugh in Scribblio is like purposefully making the dumbest shit I can make because I honestly couldn't think of anything else. But it makes so much sense to me. So much sense to me. And I would get it instantly because I know myself so fucking well. And it's so interesting to like look back at my old work as a third person that understands everything about that person and who they were at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like down to the minute detail, especially if you like remember actually drawing it and what was around you and inspiring you while you were drawing it. What's around you really like influences a lot about your drawing. Like if I was drawing right now, I'd probably draw that boiling pot, you know? Because it's just such like an important part of my life, you know what I'm saying? The boiling pot is what I make my ramen on, dude. Like, what would I do without it? You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm just inherently, like, my eyes are darting to it. One other thing would be this metal bowl, the ones that we've had for like years in our freaking lives, like probably since we've been in New York, you know, which is wild to even think about. But it's lasted us for years, which is just so incredible. I can't imagine how my mom feels like walking into this house every day, you know? Like, this is what she's worked hard for, you know? Like, us being able to be comfortable in, like, a nice neighborhood. And my mom really deserves that, man. She deserves that so much. Oh, man. I just wish I could have been, like, a better son to be able to provide that for her, you know, myself. Like, I don't want her to, like, have to work for that, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's already worked for, like, everything in her life. Like, even me. She's had to work for me to be in existence. It's 11:11, by the way. If you want to make a wish, just, like, for me. You have a couple seconds left. Don't worry. Nope. All right. It's 11:12 now. So I hope you made your wish quickly, and I hope it comes true. And never tell me what you wished for. Unless you're not a coward, in which case you will tell me, and we will attempt to make your dream come true, no matter what. But yeah, I think, oh man, I'm so addicted to human connections, man. Like, I just keep, like, speed running them, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, oh, bored of this thing, or these people, let me go to this new group, and learn everything that there can be learned about these people, and then like get overly attached to them, and then within a couple of months never speak to them ever again, and probably at some point like wanted to be with one of the members of the group for like the rest of my life and thought they were my soulmate. We're unpacking this, man. We're unpacking this tonight. Smoking on your what's his name tonight. Kendrick Lamar is pretty fucking good. He's underrated, guys. Anyways, what was I about to say? Oh yeah. This is so interesting. That movie is so interesting. I really, really like that movie. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Such an interesting movie. Bro, what is that sound? Anyways. I'm like crazy zooted, man. Like Zoink Scoop. That's where I'm at. It's 11:44. I don't know if that means anything to you. It wasn't fucking 11:11. What the hell? That's hilarious. Let's just count it as 11:11. All right. Let's just pretend it was. Let's just pretend that it was. Because it was a great moment for us. I swear I have interesting things to say. Maybe I'm just out of juice this time. Yeah. But yeah, there's kind of a lot of really complicated characters in that movie. I think that, just in conclusion, that movie is amazing. And I think it really highlights just mother-daughter connections and the sacrifices that a mother can make for their child, going so far as to completely change themselves as a person in order to support this child, you know? It's that mother's responsibility, you know? And I think mothers are inherently more willing to do this, inherently more connected to the child, arguably are the only one that truly feels this mirror comparison. Like, oftentimes people look a lot more like their moms and their dads, you know? Like, there's just like kind of like that disconnect, you know what I'm saying? And man, people need to like be happy to have kids with each other, like, even if their kids are gonna be ugly. Like, you know? Like, it's not about the kid's attractiveness. You're not like breeding human beings to be like more attractive or whatever. Like, you're just trying to create a satisfying relationship and family dynamic with somebody that you really love and care about a lot. And you know, sometimes, I don't know, sometimes that doesn't happen for people. Sometimes people don't get that. Sometimes people don't want that. But like, you know, the human condition and like human desires are just like kind of just a part of our nature, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's an inescapable quality that human beings have, you know? And we kind of all have these ways of dealing with the human condition. But at the end of the day, like, we have to like accept that like we're so tiny in this world, no matter what kind of ideas about it that we have of what it looks like, what it's shaped like. and we kind of like hold on to these positions in order to like save ourselves and to kind of convince ourselves that that these things are right, and that like our ideal reality is true, and that there's a reason to go on. But at the end of the day, sometimes things happen for no reason at all, you know? Like sometimes people just die out of nowhere, and that's kind of just how life goes sometimes. Sometimes there's no reason to it, and sometimes that makes people feel like there's no reason at all to do anything, you know? And I think that's what we should take from it. We should take that. It's something that crap, what was I talking about? I don't remember what I was talking about. Shit. I'll see the playback later and I'll be like, oh, no, I remember what I was talking about. But yeah, I think just the family dynamics that this movie kind of like brings up are just also interesting, you know? Like every character kind of has like a dynamic with the other character, you know? And also I think it's just so interesting that this like family is just kind of at the center of everything, you know what I'm saying? Like they truly are the main characters in this movie, this family, you know? And this family unit is kind of like undergoing this like deconstruction of what the relationships are looking like, if these are healthy relationships. They believe that they were because they wanted to believe that they were at the end of the day. They didn't want to go through that effort of having to maintain their relationship. And crap, what was I on about? Yeah, it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy with their existence. Their existence leads to the like dimension hopping thing, and then the dimension hopping thing leads to Jobu Tupaki, you know, and then that leads to them needing the dimension hopping thing to fight her and like stop her. And when you think kind of like, well, then what's after that? It's like more like dimension hopping or whatever. You kind of get into this like loop of the meaning behind all of these things, like when you get into like the reasons for everything, you know what I'm saying? That's why you probably shouldn't think too much into things unless it's like something to do with like the government, you know what I'm saying? They're always doing something shady, you know what I'm saying? Damn, I didn't think I would turn into one of those stoners that's really into like conspiracy theories, you know what I'm saying? Like I never thought that would be me, but here I am, I guess. I think this is my longest video now, by like a lot. Anyways, yeah, I don't know, it's just like, it's so interesting. It's so interesting, this movie. Oh, right. Yeah, she's able to like love this like sausage person, and like she genuinely felt this, and this is like revealed to us like earlier when she's able to transfer to this body where she was married to the sausage fingered tax lady, and she truly felt love for her, and she was able to go into that life, experience it, and be able to experience that feeling, to genuinely say that she loved her. And it was in that moment that that relationship became important to her. And I think another thing that this could represent is like going down life paths and making decisions and having a lot of indecision, i.e. swapping between different life paths being universes and versions of yourself, that you'll eventually become like Joe Butapaki and like kind of be looking at everything and kind of like just bleeping between everything because you just have so many lives like stuck on your plate, like so many things to like care about, to wake up and like be worried about. And it's kind of like just like kind of really interesting to think about, is that like that's what Joe Butapaki and the mom are experiencing kind of. And you can kind of see this like really big I guess not dependence, just like this experience that she had, like having those feelings, she was able to use them later in the movie as kind of like the punchline or whatever it's called, like technically in the movie, or to that side plot, to that character arc between those two characters. And it's kind of like interesting that that's like foreshadowed earlier on. And again, more queer representation, and that was really awesome. It's really awesome. It was a very good representation. And I think that like not enough queer people are talking about it. You know what I'm saying? I think it should be so much more important to the queer community that we're getting these queer Asian figures in like media and stuff. Even though there was no queer Asian male figures, I think there's actually a lot of those in media. There's a lot of those because of the demasculinization of Asian men that has happened through the media. And we can see them kind of coming back into the limelight in kind of the same way as Asian girls kind of like really came into the limelight. Like they really came into the limelight as well, because a lot of these features that we actually consider very attractive are on Asian people, like the smaller eyes, you know, like the slim body and faces and jawline and stuff. And it's so interesting that we kind of psyoped everybody to not be super attracted to Asians, and that made us realize that there's something about everybody that is attractive. You know what I'm saying? Like the only thing that you need to be attracted to somebody is to recognize what like makes them look different from everybody else. What is that like unique quality that they have that nobody else has on their whole entire person? You know what I'm saying? And that's like how you really fall in love with somebody, actually. Fuck, what was I on about? And that was such a good thought too, and I was so interested in it. Fuck. It's about falling in love with somebody. A true, like, love or whatever. Connection. The one where it's like, it's about what's different from everybody. Yeah, they realize that the appearance, it doesn't really matter, because they have never really been exposed to like Asian people, and like this idea now hentai has become like a huge craze, like Japanese style or like just like Asian style in general, like pornography or whatever is becoming incredibly popular. Like everybody like loves this shit, you know what I'm saying? That's because it's so exotic, you know what I'm saying? Because of the othering, the massive othering that we've placed on Asian men and women. And I feel like Asian studies is probably one of the least kind of covered topics. I think a lot of the time in media, all we ever see really is like an A+ kid who's like a gifted student or child or whatever, and feels like they haven't reached their potential because they burnt out super young because they were putting so much effort into school to get into like the best school, and then after that they didn't even like plan or reserve energy for what they would do afterwards, to do after they did all of that hard work, Because at the end of the day, being smart is not necessarily about having actual inherent intellect, to have talent inherently, you know. It's a lot of it is about your situation, where you come from, how much money that you come from, how much support that you have at home, how many people can help you like with your homework, until you're able to just do it by yourself, you know. Constantly having that crutch, of course you're never gonna fall behind in school. Of course you're gonna be seen as a gifted child because you're like acing all these exams. It's because they have more than one or many teachers besides their own teacher. They're constantly being taught throughout the day. Every moment that a child spends alone, they're not like actively trying to learn unless they have like PBS in front of them. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what leads a lot of kids to have these hyperfixations. Or I guess what leads me to have these hyperfixations is because that desire to be tutored, to be nurtured, is kind of manifesting in what replaced that nurturing and tutoring in your life, instead of like your parent or like a parental figure. It's kind of like taking form and becoming and really dominating your interests, like the kinds of things that you gravitated to as a kid, that gave you comfort as a kid. You're kind of gravitating to those things, and we don't even really like realize why we like the shows that we do, you know. Man, I hope Rome gets to see this, like, because I'm literally just like calling him out, and by extension myself. But yeah, it is just so interesting that we place so much importance over the things that we are entertained by, because of this like traumatic experience that we've all had of sometimes that entertainment being all that we had at one point, all the like dopamine rush of human connection that we had. Like, we didn't have that anywhere else because we were inside. We were kids that like couldn't like play with friends all the time, you know what I'm saying? That's the kind of people that I think quote unquote nerds develop into, you know what I'm saying? I say quote unquote nerds as if I'm not a nerd myself, with these glasses smacked on my head, you know what I'm saying? And that's why a lot of people get contacts, you know what I'm saying? Because like glasses aren't the person that they are, you know what I'm saying? But glasses are the person that I am. You know, the experience of having glasses, I like wearing glasses. I like having glasses on. I like the feeling of having glasses. And I think it completes me, you know what I'm saying? And like people who don't really have those same interests as me or cares as me, it kind of like transfers into this desire to like get rid of these glasses, to like really show your inward persona, like kind of more outwards, between like this shift from middle school to high school, even maybe into college, like out of this desire to have like a sudden transformation in this new stage of your life, or anytime really that a big chapter of your life closes. Maybe even as like an old man, you might do that to like rebel or whatever in your old man ways and stuff. I'm glad I can do all of the big rebellion stuff while like I'm still young, kind of still like a child, you know. We're almost at an hour. That's kind of my goal right now, is I want to make it to an hour so I can make this like an hour-long special, you know, and be so funny and cool. Ooh. Is it still working? Yeah, it's still working. Anyways, I forget what I was saying. No, yeah. I used to love those concepts as a kid, like a special episode, because they would always just so truly be special, you know. They'd be packed with like all the fan service and like stuff that you wanted to see. And they decided to make it like an hour long so you don't have to wait the next week for the new episode. Man, I remember back in 2016 when I first watched JoJo, and like I just thought it was like the best thing I'd ever watched, because I felt like it was everything that I ever wanted. It was just like this ridiculous show that was just so crazy and over the top. And it wasn't popular either. So me and my friends could share that. Like, that was our thing. And like nobody else in the whole world. And then part 5 came out, and like it was a huge hit. It was a gigantic hit. And I think that was when I kind of dived more into the manga reading of JoJo, and kind of like just going straight into like JoJolion and Steel Ball Run, because I just wanted to be in this elite kind of like private club of people that were kind of in the know. You know what I'm saying? Like people that liked anime and manga enough, like to the hardcore level that they would like read the manga and stuff, and like go to all these sketchy websites and download all these links to be able to do that, you know? And it's just so interesting. It's just such an interesting idea. Man. Dude, every time like I pause to like breathe, I forget like everything that I was just saying. And that makes me kind of unhappy, but also happy at the same time that I get to be able to like start a new thought. Like, I guess I'm kind of speed running ideas. And this is still, I feel like, very much related to the theme of trauma and like cycles of trauma and everything everywhere all at once. Like, this is still like absolutely connected, and I think you can connect any of these ideas back to like one of the characters, you know, because everybody just has these complex relationships with themselves, with the people around them, and of course their families. Their families are always so important, kind of like mirror who they're going to become, because you kind of like take all these little things from your family, kind of like what the mom does at the end of Everything Everywhere All at Once, and kind of take everything from all of the family members that you became really close to, because those are the first people ever in your life that you're really close to, and you take interests and stuff from all these people, and it kind of like dictates the kind of friends that you seek out, like ones that remind you of your family. And my friends really do. They really do remind me of my family. And that's why I always have this like fantasy of like my friends like meeting my family and just being like best friends with everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like all these people just like coming together to like just love each other, you know what I'm saying? Because I know that they would all love each other, because they're all incredible, and I think they're all incredible people. I think all the incredible people that I love would love the other incredible people that I love, you know what I'm saying? Because I love them all for like the same kind of inherent reason, you know? It's such a deep love that I really have for those kinds of people, you know what I'm saying? Those people that I feel like kind of have this altruistic nature to them, and kind of desire to help the people around them. That's the kind of people I really like surrounding myself with. And sometimes I feel like I'm surrounded by people that, I don't know, that don't want to help themselves. And I feel the need that I have to help them myself, you know what I'm saying? To give them that desire to help themselves, you know? And that's really like difficult, because a lot of times I feel like somebody that can't help themselves. They can't like get out of the bed in the morning. So it feels like it's impossible for me to really nurture somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like totally trauma dumping on the fucking tube right now. That's like the third time I said that. Take a shot every time I say that. Glug, sigh, etc. You name it. But yeah. Currently, guys, we're almost there. We're almost at an hour for this hour-long special. I just want to say that even if I didn't mention you by name, I love you very deeply. In fact, you're surrounded by people that love you very deeply, because they understand the value of being loved. You know what I'm saying? These are all people that I think in some way or another have lost a connection in their lives that they deeply regret, and that they feel they need to make up for it for making future connections with other people, whether it's somebody that's died, or somebody that they lost connection with, or somebody that they feel like they should have talked more to, and they feel like that connection is now gone and unable to be recovered. There's a lot of different kinds of being responsible or feeling responsible for those kinds of events in our lives. And I think that creates so many different ways of solving it, you know what I'm saying? Again, like I was saying, it takes a lot to like get me out of bed, I think, every single morning. But like, I think I just do it all for the satisfaction I get from seeing other people like smiling and happy. It's the only thing I ever want to see, you know, around me. I think that's the kind of person that I want to end up being, I guess. Just kind of less of a person, more like kind of just like an existence, you know, that everybody cherishes and stuff like that. That everybody feels like happy around. Nobody's sad. Everybody's just having a nice connection with one another, and they're kind of like gathered around by just this one force. And, you know, maybe I will get that one day. Maybe all of the hard work that I put into just spreading so much love around and shit like that, maybe that'll turn into something like that. Man, I wish. Maybe that's a bit selfish of me to want that many people loving me, but I don't know. It's not about me, I think. It's just about them. I just want everybody to be really happy with themselves. That is very difficult. That is very, very difficult. But can I rather be difficult where, you know, you just give up entirely? Then what? What was the point of living if you just gave up at the end? Anyways, I had a lot of fun making this video. I didn't expect it to turn out to be an hour long. I was pushing to make it 10 minutes even. But I just want to say that I appreciate every single person that watched this video. Even if you only made it to like 2 minutes. Even if you clicked off by then. To the people that made it all the way to here and like got all the little references and stuff like that. That is so awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna end the video now. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.